It's my privilege to introduce our speaker tonight. For about 25 years, we've worked together. We've been business partners and friends. And what I've noticed really over the years is the loyalty that people have for her. And it's because she cares. I can't say it more succinctly. She cares about her team so much. She's extremely knowledgeable when it comes to business practice, and nobody can interpret a compensation plan like she can. It's my absolute privilege to welcome Kerry Dean.
Well, thank you very much, Judith. I have been involved with network marketing. I was just counting on my fingers for 30 years, I think. I love network marketing. So when I'm talking tonight, if I say network marketing, right now my love for network marketing is Super Patch because I haven't found a company in the past that had a potential, a product, and a group as good as what I think we have right here. So Jane asked me to talk tonight about leadership and looking for leaders and how you spot them and how you work with them. And when some people, I've probably been to every leadership class that every guru has taught over the years. That's one thing about network marketing. It is like a self-help course. I needed self-help when I started. My background was nursing science, and I was an emergency room nurse and intensive care nurse. Not a lot of fun in that job, but a lot of growth and a lot of being able to really feel that I was helping people. So helping people kind of came with the territory. I also have 4 children, and I was left alone at a very young age. My husband had a sudden death at age 33, and we just had a 6-week-old baby who was the youngest of 4 little children. So my story kind of evolved from that. I left nursing so I could stay at home. That's one of the things I love about network marketing. We're the first stay at home people. And we got to work from home, and we got to break glass ceilings, which when I started that long ago was difficult for women. And there wasn't a lot of network marketing companies around. Certainly, nothing like Super Patch. And I heard Jay say that Super Patch will work on 100% of the people, 100% of the time. And to me, that was such a powerful statement. But he said some people it takes longer, so you have to be patient. So I thought I'm one of those people that's probably going to take a little longer, but I've had a lot of joy because of the Super Patch patches. So when I'm looking at leadership and you're looking at a company like Super Patch, you want to see how that can mesh together. And I've always believed that our job in network marketing and in Super Patch is to look for leaders. And that's our number one job, is that you're always on the lookout for leaders. So what is a leader? Well, to me, a leader is a person who inspires people to take action. And that can apply to every one of us at different times in our lives. So you heard Diane a few minutes ago talk about, oh, I just had a surgery last week. And here she's out talking to people. So for most of us, if she can do that, we really don't have an excuse why we can't. So that's inspiration. So some people will be inspired by her story. When we watched Tommy's video a few weeks ago, and he was showing how he was a 364th, I think it was, out of 365 kids in his class. That's very inspiring because that lets you know that anybody can go to the very top if they have enough belief in themselves. What we're looking for in a leader is not a degree, and it's not a personality type. It's somebody that can inspire others. And we all have that potential to be that person just by living our lives. Our life story is often an inspiration to others. So when I was young, being a single mom with little babies and kids and being able to build a business and work from home and make money, have fun, and change lives. That's how I looked at it. So at that time, probably making money was my first thought because, um, when your spouse dies, your income automatically goes down, and because you're used to living with two incomes. So I've gone through, I've remarried, I had two fabulous husbands, two very fine men, but the second one died on me too. So I refuse to have a third. I'm not doing that again. But when you look at my life story, there's been ups and downs and things that have gone wrong, things have gone great. So when I say for my personal thing, I think we each should write down three things that are important to us to have in life. And so the three things for me, are to have fun, to make money, and to change people's lives. Over the years, those things have changed in priority depending on where I am in life. Probably right now, in the years I'm in now, they're a kind of a perfect mesh. So if you wake up every morning and think to yourself, whose life can I change today? You'll get, it's amazing what what comes to you. That should be your first thought in the morning. Whose life could I change today? And maybe it'll be by a phone. You give them a phone call, and it really has nothing to do with business, but you're able to change their life because of the patches. So I'm talking tonight about business because that's part of the movie that we're in. So when I'm talking about business, I want to talk about how you can change people's lives by looking for leaders through business. So if a leader is somebody who inspires somebody to take action, what is a leader not? And I want to tell you what a leader is not because it holds people back. I do have a saying that I've had for 30 years, and that is if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And that has served me well all through my life because I've had really a lot of fun everywhere I go when I meet fun people. And I like to be in a fun atmosphere. And that's one thing about network marketing. You meet the greatest, most positive people. They come from all walks of life. They're all ages. They're all interested in helping others. They all want to be better themselves. Network marketing, I always say, is an elegant way to do business because you're always helping someone else become successful. And so if you're looking at it that way, it makes it fun because their success is your success. So I want to tell you a few things that network marketing is not. Super Patch is not. When you're a leader, you have to remember you're the leader of a volunteer army. They can show up if they want. You can't fire them. They can leave if they want. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want, because it's their business and they're in it because they don't want a boss. And certainly that they don't want you to be their boss. So the number one thing you have to remember you're not as a leader in this kind of an industry is you're not their boss. You're also not their judge. You're not there to judge whether they're doing a good job or a bad job. You're not there to judge what they should be doing. They should be spending more time or less time. You're not there to judge anything that they do. All you're there to do is to help them be the best they can be if they want your help. And if they don't want your help, you're not supposed to judge that either. You're not their marriage counselor. So you're not there to listen to all their problems, and you're not their punching bag. So you're not there to be beaten up if they decide something's not going right in their business and they want to make it your fault. Because lots of times when people things aren't going well in life or business or whatever they're doing, they don't want to take any responsibility for themselves, for that themselves. They want to have somebody else to blame. And if you're the leader, it's easiest to blame you. Well, that person didn't help me. If they live in a country, they can might maybe blame their government. The truth is, we're all responsible for our own lives, and you're not anybody's punching bag. You're also not their ATM machine. And I've seen that happen to leaders over and over again. They want to be helpful, and so they be helpful by buying somebody else's patches or lending them money just so they can get over a rough spot. You're not their ATM machine, and you are definitely not their drama coach. So all of those things, I always say, tell your drama to your mama, because this mama doesn't have time for all your drama that you've got on going on in your life. I don't burden anybody with my drama. Maybe my kids sometimes, but they've burdened me for years, so they deserve it. But that's the idea behind being a leader. This is not kind of the typical leader that you'll get that's just, you do habit stacking and you do all these different things to become a great leader. This kind of business, you become a great leader by getting to the point yourself where you need to be so that you're getting on stage, you're getting recognized, you've succeeded, you've reached a goal that you want to reach, and then getting off the stage so you can watch all of your people get on the stage and you're in the audience cheering for your people. You are the best leader when you're in the audience cheering your people who've become successful. They've either become the same level as you are, or they have passed you. Ah, you're the leader. You don't want them to pass you. Happens all the time in network marketing. It's just part of network marketing. And your job as the leader is to cheer them on and make sure they always have somebody better than you to work with. So if they've passed you, they may need somebody that's um, has done more in the business than you have to work with them. Doesn't mean you're not going to catch up. One of the things in this kind of business is life gets in the way, things get in the way. And so your zoom to the top may take a slight diversion. You could have a baby, you could have a wedding, you could be going through um, a health issue. Not if you're Diane, because if you're Diane, even if you're having surgeries, you show up on the call, you show up for work. The rest of us don't have an excuse. She is an inspiration. So everybody is inspired by a different story, and your story, you may not have surgeries. You may not go through things that other people have gone through. And that's good for you, because you don't have to jump off a bridge to tell your kids, don't jump off a bridge. You don't have to experience every tragedy in order to be inspired or have inspiration for others. I wanted to be inspired by women who could make an income and support their families. That was that's what I needed to be inspired by. So every time I heard somebody get on stage who had done that, I was inspired, because I could look at them and I could say, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's what being a leader is. If they can do it, you can do it. And I guarantee you, you can do it. Um, the easy part about the patch business is that it's step by step. And every single person takes the step by step, but every person's journey will be unique. So even though you're taking the same step by step, you go from signing up to buying patches to becoming a senior associate, to becoming a team leader, to becoming a director, to becoming the next step and the next step. Those are the steps, but everybody's journey will be unique, because everybody's what they have to offer and where their learning curve is unique to them. And so as the leader, you can't judge their learning curve. What you can always do is you can pick who you're going to work with, and you pick the ones who are ready to be leaders now. That's who you work with. Because somebody who's not ready this month because they're having a baby this month, although I have had a leader who um, was on the table delivering and was still doing production numbers at one time. She was crazy, but that's what she did. Um, and I think Judith probably remembers her. She lived in Edmonton. And so we, what one person could say is going to stop me for this time, another person will just plow right through that. We're all different. And that's what makes network marketing so remarkable. So you work with the person who's ready to work right now. And then because you haven't judged the person who's not ready, when they are ready, they're free to come to you and say, I'm ready. My very first company I was with was the same company Jane was with. When I was ready to become what was called a director, I went and told my director, and honestly, she broke down and started to laugh. She could not control herself because the idea that I was finally going to do something to her was so funny. Because I'd never done anything before, and suddenly after all that time I decided I was going to become a director, and then I was going to go move up from there. But because I had showed up, because I had listened, because I had been on the calls, we didn't have Zoom then, but because I showed up to the meetings, because I did those things. Every time you show up, they say you go up. So just showing up prepares you to become the leader when you're ready to take off. And I went really fast when I started. It was like, holy smokes, that she did that so quickly. And she started really from nothing, because the first 6 months I was in that business, I hid my case in a closet and chose not to tell anybody. So you can tell how successful I would have been. Other businesses, I went to the top really fast. I started the minute I started, and others, it took me time to get my feet wet. There's no judgment wherever you are. Wherever you are, you could be the leader you want to be. Take those three things and decide how you're going to work them into your philosophy. For mine, it was important for me to have fun, for my children to see me laughing. Very important. Holy smokes. Very important part of your life is to see that it's okay to have fun, even if everything's not perfect. So it was important for me to have fun. I have had fun all over the world doing things. I can always say I've had friends in low places, I've had friends in high places, but I've always had fun wherever I was. And having fun's important to me. Making money is important to me. Some people look down you if you talk about money, but most people, to be honest, when they get into a business to make money. Very few people open a flower shop and say, gosh, I hope my flower shop doesn't bring me any money because I just love giving out flowers. They want to make a living from their flower shop. They want to make a living from their donut shop. They want to make a living from whatever business they decide to do. And our business is not any different. There's nothing wrong with being honest and say, yeah, making money would be really fun. Making money together would be really fun. And then for me, having this satisfaction of helping others, clearly I came from a nursing background. People who go into those kind of fields, nurses, teachers, doctors, all of those people who go into the kind of field where they're helping others, network marketers, those kinds of people are great people to put on your lists of who you want to have in your business, because they just have that in them. I had one person who said to me, I really don't like people. And I said to her, network marketing really isn't for you. What do you like? She said, I love dogs. Well, she became a dog walker. That was a good fit for her. But somebody who doesn't like people shouldn't really be in network marketing. But it's been my experience in network marketing that the best, every country I've been to has great people. There's great people everywhere. And every country I've been to has great leaders. There's great leaders everywhere. So it's not just what country you live in. One of the nice things about Super Patch is that it's in several countries, and it's opening more. So you could have a global business if you choose. That's kind of an opportunity I didn't have until my very last business that I was in. I was never in a opportunity that offered a global business. Um, the first 3 or 4 businesses I was in were only in Canada. The first one I had that was in the United States um, wasn't until I think, 2007. And then I could have a business in Canada and the United States. I was so happy. Think I had 350 million people I could somehow get in touch with after having, I think at that time, 35 million. It made a huge business and huge difference in my business. So what do you say when you're starting out, you're starting to be a leader? When you know what you're not, and when you know what you are, and when you know what your 3 things are, and you know that it's a volunteer army. So it sounds like things are kind of against you, but actually everything is set up that it works for you. So when you're talking about the patches, everybody that you come across can be a customer and can come into your business as an associate, where they want to buy the patches wholesale, or they can buy them retail for you. Everybody that you talk to can wear patches. The best thing for all of our businesses is that everybody in the world hears about the patches and starts wearing patches, and they are everywhere. That that day will come. That day is not now. That day has not come now. Most people you talk to will not have heard of Super Patch. And this company hasn't reached momentum. This company is only a couple of years old. I will tell you, in all honesty, I have never been in a company this young before. Every company I have ever been in, um, and some I got in after momentum, I still could get to the top. Some I've been in during momentum and I went to the top. And some, like this one, I've been in, two I've been in before momentum hit. And involved in a company before momentum, it's is really powerful, because momentum, if you think of a pot of water, you put that pot of water on the stove, all of a sudden your business, you're working, you're bringing people in. Some say yes, some say no, some work the business, some leave. They call you and you're all excited. They're calling, how do I get out of my membership? you know Everybody has all of those things happen. When I get a no, I will tell you, this is how I look at it. Every day when I think of whose life could I change today, I also think of um, what I want my business to look like. I want my business to be full of happy, creative, talented people that I want to be around, and they want to be around me. They want better lives all around them, and they want to have fun, and they want to go to the top. They want to go to the top with me. That's what I'm looking for. So if somebody says no, I think to myself, well, it's not the right time for them to be in my business. Something they're going through is not right for my business right now. Doesn't mean I can't ask them 6 months from now, because what they're going through right now may have passed. I don't need to know what they're going through. I just need to know that now is not their time. That doesn't mean now is never. It means now is not for right now. And so that's how I look at it. I don't get upset if I get a no. I get real happy when I get yes. And I never let what somebody else thinks stop me. Um, I learned that a lot time ago. I learned that not everybody will like you. That was a hard thing for me to learn, because I was a kind of person wanted everybody to like me. So when I found out they don't all, was like, oh no, what's wrong with me? I never once thought, oh, well, maybe it's something wrong with them, because I like me. And that's the only person that really has to like you. You have to like you, and you have to decide, I like me, and I want you to partner with me and go to the top with me. I want to join arms with you. I want to walk across the stage with you. I want to go to the top of this business with you. But make no mistake, I'm going to the top, whether you join or not. And the difference between a leader who will make it and a leader who will lay down sucking their thumb for a week because somebody said no. Now, I can say that to you, and I'm not judging. I can say that to you because I did those kinds of things in the beginning. Somebody said no. I was devastated. I took it personally. I thought, is something wrong with me? Now I know it's not something wrong with me. It is not time for them. And so getting a no shouldn't stop you. Just not getting started is what should scare you. This is a time when super patch is going to go into momentum. So if you take a pot of water and the pot is cold, that's how you start your business off. You got a cold pot of water because there's you. And then you add people to it, and some of them, want to do something, and some of them don't. And some of them want to wear patches, and some of them leave it. You've got this pot of water, and it's warming up and warming up and warming up. And all of a sudden, there's a bubble that comes up. And that's the beginning of momentum. And then all of a sudden, you can't control it because it's a boiling pot of water. And it's bubble after bubble after bubble. And you can't stop the bubbles because they keep coming up because it's boiling pot. And that's what momentum is like. It takes a life of its own. So once you do the part in the beginning, because you're telling it to people, tell to people, tell to people, and you're looking for those leaders, then you get to the part where you're in momentum and your business actually takes a life of its own, and it's working when you're not. And I've had that experience too, because I was in a coma and in the hospital for 8 months and I had 17 surgeries. So that's a lot for anybody. But I got paid every single, and that company got paid by the week, got paid every single week that I was in the coma and that I was not able to work. That's because my business had gone into momentum and it had a life of its own. I had 6 people become what was called Ruby directors, where they were making $10,000 a month when I was in a coma. So that's momentum. That's when the business takes a life of its own. And that can happen for every single person that just starts by putting on one patch. It's just a decision you have to make of what you want to do. One of the easiest things to do is to use three-way calls to help build your business. And most people are afraid to use three-way calls. So what I say to somebody who there's two ways to use three-way calls. One, when you've got somebody you want to bring into the business. And so all you say to that person is, I really have somebody I'd love you to meet. I think the two of you would really click. Can I put you on a call with her? Because I know that the two of you would really like to meet. And when I meet that person, I always start off the exact same way. I'd really like you to see, I'd really like to tell you what I saw when I looked at Super Patch and see if it makes sense for you to get involved. That's how I started. And then I do the presentation quick. And at the end, I say, so does it make sense for you to be involved? And usually people say, yeah, this makes sense. So that's one way. I always like to separate the invitation to anything from the presentation. So if I was at dinner and I wanted to talk to somebody at dinner about the business, I would say, you know what, I have something really exciting I'd love to talk about to you. Do you have time for 15 minutes next week that we can really talk about an opportunity? I really think this is something we could do together that we'd have so much fun. And so that's inviting them. And then I set up the time for the next week or the next day or the next whenever. If they say to me, oh, tell me right now, I still say, oh no, this is our dinner. Let's just enjoy our dinner. We'll talk whenever we've set up to talk. Because then when I talk to them, it's just about business. It's not about patches in business. It's not about anything else but business. The other way I like to do three-way calls is I like to do a three-way call to get referrals. So if I ask somebody for referrals and they give me referrals, I ask them, who do you know that's amazing, successful? To me, successful means they've had some success in some area of their life. Usually if people have had some success in some area of their life. Doesn't mean it's financial success, doesn't mean it's just, they might be the best mom you ever met, stay-at-home mom you ever met, some sort of success in their lives. Who do you know that's the most successful person you know? And make a list of those people and then phone them with the distributor and say, somebody gave me your name and said that you're the most successful person they know. And I've never had one person say to me, ever, ever, who gave me your name? They take for granted that, of course, people know I'm successful. You must have been talking to a headhunter. And I've brought on more people just by doing that. That's a really powerful way for you to get new people. Most of my businesses I've built on referrals because I only knew about 10 people when I got started the first time. That evolved a little bit, but now I know a lot more people, but because I've been in the industry longer. Doesn't matter, doesn't won't make me more successful. We'll still end up at the same place at the end, at the top, if that's what you've decided to do. This is a business where we can all go at the top. We don't have to knock somebody down to get to the top. Somebody doesn't have to get fired for us to get to the top. We can all make whatever amount of money we want. We can all have the business we want. We can all go to the top together if we want. It's like every single one of us on the call winning the lottery. Isn't it? Be fun to win the lottery, wouldn't it? But isn't it more fun to think of every one of us winning the lottery? That's really what we've done with Super Patch.